and welcome back to another edition of Cooking with Lily and Generoso. I am Generoso.
I'm Lily.
Yes, and today we are going to make one of my favorite meat items, which should be complete with any Sunday ragu if you have the time to make it. And that is braciola, this wonderful rolled meat component of your wonderful Sunday sauce. So, of course, to make braciola, we're going to make the actual braciola, the meat item. And then on top of that, of course, we're just going to make our Sunday ragu without meatballs this time. But something I think you'll really enjoy. So we're going to need a lot of ingredients, not specifically for the braciola, but for the whole sauce and braciola components. So let's go down to what we need. We'll need a little food processor, some lovely parsley, about 5 cloves of garlic, some cooking twine, my meat tenderizing hammer, a really sharp knife, my wooden spoon, pepper, salt, 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. If you have fresh, more power to you. Unflavored breadcrumbs, none of that Italian style nonsense. A little bit of white wine. Any white wine will do just fine. Olive oil. I ground some Romano cheese, so probably a few tablespoons of Romano. Some nice smoked provolone. Some Italian sausage, not for the braciola, but for the sauce. And then a couple large pieces of flank. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do a little tiny bit of prep. We're going to show you how to make the braciola first, and then we're going to go on to actually make our sauce for Sunday. So stay tuned. So we've done just a little bit of prep work. Our friend the food processor is going to do most of the damage. So what we've done is we've taken the ends off the garlic, you know, the little fuzzy hairy part that no one really likes. We've cleaned our parsley and chopped off some of the stem. We've diced up the provolone cheese. We've uncanned our tomatoes, and we'll be using them for a bit. I took the tenderizing hammer and really beat the hell out of this flank steak. Remember, flank is not the most delicate piece of meat, so you really do need to give it a serious pounding. But don't trim off any of the fat. That's going to cook off in the sauce, and that's going to be wonderful. You want that fat. So now what we are going to do is we are going to embrace our friend the food processor. As some of you who follow these videos over the last couple weeks, what has essentially happened is that our giant food processor has bit the dust.
The dad food processor.
I know, I had it for 20 years. I loved it so much. So until we get a new one, we're using the baby food processor, but it can still do a lot. So let's start off with some of the things that we will need. We'll get our wonderful garlic. Only half of it, the rest of it's going to go into the sauce. So we're going to mince it a little bit further in a bit. We're going to get a good percentage of our parsley. About yay. We're going to take our wonderful provolone, stick that in there as well.
So you're making a delicious herb cheese paste to go inside.
How dare you sit behind my process? You're trying to kill me, aren't you? About a cup or so of breadcrumb. Okay. Some white wine.
Oh.
Inside my paste.
Really?
Yes. To act as a happy lubricant. Our wonderful Romano cheese. A good amount of it.
I wonder why this is so delicious.
It's pretty bad for you. I'm very proud of that. And a bit of olive oil. And you'll need our friends who join every Italian discussion. Salt. About a teaspoon. And pepper. Yay! So now what we are going to do with our wonderful concoction is we're going to blend it. So we're going to keep blending this for a little bit. If it starts to seem a little bit dry, do not worry. Add a little bit more olive oil and a little tiny bit more wine, because you want it to be a pasty kind of substance, and we'll show you what that looks like in just a little bit. So, as you can see, our wonderful, as Lily called it, an herb stuffing,
yes,
or an herb paste, is nice and as the Italians would say, morbid, that is very moist.
But firm.
And firm. So what we're going to do, and you may wonder, gee, do I really need this much for just the one braciola? Truthfully, After this is done, we're probably going to use some chicken breast and bake them in the oven because this is phenomenally delicious, no matter what meat you wrap it in. So we're going to take a clump of it, and as you see, we've gotten our 2 steaks, and we've kind of overlapped them a bit, just to show you exactly how much. And now we're going to take our wonderful Braciola spread, and we're going to put it all through. We're going to cover it. So that it's nice and thick throughout the Braciola.
Oh, you ended up using most of it.
I got a little bit left. Not a sin. Alright, so it's nice and thick. So what we are going to do, I've pre-cut a couple pieces of this cooking string. And we are going to begin our roll. Not super tight. We're not trying to crush it. You would like for it to be consistent throughout, but you want to be nice and gentle here. Don't go nuts.
You don't want to squish all of that beautiful
Why would you
filling
squish?
out.
And then we are going to proceed to perform some kind of deviant sex act on our Braciola. So we're going to take our wonderful string and we're going to tie this up. And so this is going to take a little bit. And we'll be back in just a moment to show you the final strung up product of our Braciola.
Yes, strung up, not strung out.
You guys, look at what we've done. You might think, well, this doesn't look like Lily's job from last week. It's disorganized and crazy, but that stuffing isn't going anywhere. This is the Braciola, and it's nice and tied, and it's ready to be cooked. What we're going to do is we're going to take our wonderful olive oil that we made earlier. We've kept the pot on a low, kind of a medium flame. We're going to add a good amount of olive oil to this. And while it warms up, we're going to get ready. And again, so, you know, is there a method to this madness? You just want to keep tying it and tying it. If some of the stuffing comes out, do not lose your mind. It is completely fine. What we're actually going to try to do is we're going to lightly braise this, and this is going to be part of our ragu along with a lot of sausage. Again, even though this is a piece of beef, it's going to be mixed with pork, and all of these things are going to go into your sauce, and it's going to make the world a better place. Now, add this to our wonderful pot, and then we're going to take our friend the sausage, and we're going to add these two. Turn it down to a little tiny bit.
It's a very meaty sauce.
It is. So this fat is going to drain out. It's going to make the sauce so much better. So we're going to be back in a little bit to show you at what stage we should add the tomatoes and the rest of our herbs. And we'll see you soon. Well, it's been about 10-15 minutes. As you can see, our sausage is nicely browned. As our Braciola, it's a nice lovely brown color. This isn't where the cooking's going to happen, of course. In the long run, we're talking sauce. So what you want to add is both of our cans of tomato. Hold on a moment, the chef has gotten very messy. And another can of tomato. We're going to add the remainder of our garlic and our wonderful parsley. We're going to put in a little bit more. Add in a goodly amount of pepper. I'd say about a teaspoon. Same with some salt. Give it a little stir. And as you could probably see, I've taken the heat down. We're going to take it down even a little bit further.
You don't want the tomatoes to burn, essentially.
Absolutely not. That would be carnage. And then we're going to keep it off lid a little bit. And basically, we're going to leave it alone for the next 3 hours. We're going to give it an occasional stir about every 20 minutes to make sure the meat isn't clinging to the bottom. And then we'll be back to show you everything that is the Braciola. And welcome back. So it has been 3 hours since we've been cooking our sauce. I took it off the flame about 10 minutes ago, so nice and cooled down. And our Braciola, which was this enormous thing 3 hours ago, is now still an enormous thing, but it's nice and tight. It almost looks like a little football. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it over to the table in just a minute, and we're going to begin cutting off some of the rope. We will free the Braciola, and we'll show you how to cut it and serve it. So we're just cutting this into little tiny pieces, about yay or so big. And again,
it's probably about an inch thick.
Mm-hmm. And that's basically your Braciola. I hope you enjoy it. You're going to remove the small pieces, and we're going to make some lovely Orecchiette with this. Use the sauce, and it's a nice little companion to whatever you're making.